Next question coming from ZMac at ZA6_King on Twitter. ZMac asks, what do you think the chances are, percentage, to land either Nyckoles Harbor, Pleasant, Rodrick Pleasant, or both? So these are two of the biggest recruits still uncommitted on Oregon's big board in the 2023 class. Rodrick Pleasant is obviously a really talented recruit from my neck of the woods out here in Southern California, playing at Gardena Junipero Serra. Rodrick Pleasant is really a guy who made a name for himself as one of the fastest players in the entire country, was an Under Armour All-American in the 2023 class. He's going to be announcing his commitment on February 1st, and he's down to a top 5 of Oregon, USC, UCLA, Cal, and Boston College. Big news with the big thing to watch rather with Rodrick Pleasant. He's taking an official visit out to USC this weekend. So I think that that's obviously something that you need to watch with Rodrick Pleasant, is that he's the top cornerback that is still uncommitted right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull up his highlights as well, and then just kind of keep searching to see if I can get any more updates for you guys on Rodrick Pleasant. But he heads to USC to take a visit to the USC Trojans, his official visit. I want to say it's his last official visit during his time as a recruit. So Rodrick Pleasant's special, man. I think that after seeing him this year, you can obviously see the closing speed on display here in this highlight against Chaminade. And he also forces the fumble there and is able to recover it. He's an elite playmaker. For Rodrick Pleasant and Oregon, this is a guy that is being told that he has the opportunity to do special teams, defense, and offense. So maybe we see Rodrick Pleasant getting some work as a slot receiver at Oregon. I don't know if he's being offered that opportunity at other schools, but he just got so much straight line speed and so much burst. I remember the first game I saw Rodrick Pleasant play in against Long Beach Poly to start last season. I was surprised he didn't touch the ball a single time on offense because he's really, really special. Here he is against Nico Iamaleava and Warren in the playoffs last year, and he's able to get a pick here against Nico. Definitely just a really nice play there by Rodrick Pleasant. But to answer the question, I'm going to go with about 65% is kind of where my gut stands right now with Rodrick Pleasant, right? Because he's fast, he's a track guy, Oregon has extensive LA ties. I think that if he really, really wants to be a difference maker in track and field, what better place to go than Oregon as he gets his second pick against Nico Iamaleava there in the highlights. We know that track is playing a huge role for Rodrick Pleasant, and then it's also going to play a big role in the next recruit that we're going to talk about. But just to kind of give some final thoughts here on Pleasant, I think that he is a little bit undersized for a cornerback in terms of that if you want to try to find a slight for him. He's listed on recruiting services at 5'11", 180. I probably think he's a little bit closer to 5'9" after seeing him in person. But he's a special talent. I don't want this to come off like I'm criticizing Rodrick Pleasant by any means. I think he's special. He's someone that you absolutely want to add to your class if you're able to. If he wants to come to Oregon, you're not going to say no, right? So he's a big talent for Oregon, and I think he's someone that Oregon absolutely has a chance kind of coming down to the wire here. I'm definitely going to have to try to get an interview with him before his commitment on February 1st. Sources that I've spoken to about this recruitment kind of feel like it looks like an Oregon and Boston College battle as it stands right now, which is kind of interesting. So take from that what you will. But he did take a visit to UCLA before his USC official visit here. And I was told that, the Dante Moore commitment for UCLA was part of the reason that the Bruins were able to get into that recruitment. They really hadn't been a player for Pleasant very much during his high school career. But he was obviously, they were obviously able to get him on campus, and they're looking to make some noise here late in the cycle. All right, let me go ahead and switch up the highlights here. Give me just a moment. All right. I'm so happy to be back on my monitor, you guys, after being away from Long Beach and not being able to. All right. The next recruit that we're talking about in this question that is asked about, what are the question was more or less, what are your thoughts on Nyckoles Harbor? Nyckoles Harbor is a huge target for Oregon here in the 2023 recruiting class. Nyckoles Harbor is a 5-star prospect out of Washington, D.C., Archbishop Carroll. Looking at his 247 profile right now, he's rated 5 stars, 0.9911 on the 247 Sports Composite, the number 16 prospect in the country, and the number 1 athlete. He's getting a lot of praise as an edge rusher. He can make plays as a receiver, tight end. When my colleague John Garcia spoke with Nyckoles Harbor out in Orlando at the Under Armour All-American Bowl, he was told that Harbor said that he wanted to play offense at the next level. But the interesting thing is that his role may not exclusively be offense. He was kind of saying, I didn't say I wasn't going to play any defense, but I definitely want to focus on offense at the next level and, maybe come in for some pass rushing snaps. And what makes him so special is that speed and athleticism that he has at 6'5", 225 pounds. He's got a lot of speed. He's a track guy, even though he's absolutely massive. And the interesting thing with this recruitment, kind of from what I've been told after speaking to some sources, is that Oregon's track department is actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting here in this recruitment. That could obviously be a massive selling point for Nyckoles Harbor and Rodrick Pleasant, but we're focusing on Harbor right now as it stands in the show. So I think for Harbor, the track team is interesting to kind of hear that they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The track program at Oregon could be what pushes the Ducks over the edge in this commitment, and they'll have another golden opportunity to really try to make some noise in this recruitment and ultimately seal the deal. Why is that? It's because he's going to be taking an official visit to Oregon on January 27th, so just a few short weeks away. Excuse me. And that is an awesome chance for Oregon to try to seal the deal here, right? He's been to Oregon before. He kind of said in an interview that Oregon kind of gives him the best of both worlds from a football standpoint, from the track and field standpoint. You also have life after football. Oregon, if he comes to Oregon, they have the chance to tell him, hey, you're a track guy. All right, let me get myself back on screen because I'm getting into it. You're a track guy. You like running. You can come to Oregon, be a part of the Nike family, and let us make you into an Olympian. That's something that Oregon can pitch, and a lot of other schools I think can say that they can do that or help him do that. But Oregon's got the track record, pun intended there, I guess. So Nyckoles Harbor is a huge name for Oregon to continue monitoring on the recruiting trail in 2023. But the Ducks are not without their fair share of competition in this recruitment. You got schools like Michigan, South Carolina, Maryland, also in the mix here. I believe both of Harbor's parents are Maryland graduates, so that's going to give them some momentum in that recruitment. But you see all the highlights here. Harbor is really the full package. He does things on defense. He does things on offense. I think that he gets to college and he probably doesn't want to put on a whole lot of weight, right? Because that speed is what makes him special, and it's so hard to hang on to that speed while also adding size. But I think he's the type of athlete that he maybe doesn't need to put on weight if you want to still have him be a guy who comes off the edge on only a limited number of pass rush snaps. And if he's going to be focusing on offense and focusing on track, Oregon is a school that has a history of having guys play football and run in track. So I think that that's definitely something that Oregon has in their favor. Definitely a unique dynamic to their recruitment. So I said 65 for Rodrick Pleasant. I'm going to go with, I think, about the same, 65, maybe 70% chance for Oregon to land Nyckoles Harbor. I think that the Ducks feel really good about their chances here, even though they are, getting involved pretty late here. But look at all the juice they have on the recruiting trail. 2023 guys from the prep level. They were also able to get, Jonathan Gill out of the DC area. So that's something that's going to help them, I think, with Harbor, just to say, we've recruited your area before, kind of a deal. Not a huge factor, but certainly doesn't hurt in a recruitment. And then look at the guys that they're bringing in the portal to just be, super competitive and, just take this thing into another gear in 2023. So I got some more questions to get to. So I'm going to have to cut that question off there, but I'm feeling pretty good about Pleasant and Harbor as things stand right now on January 13th.